Ladies and gentlemen, we simply cannot be defeated in the arena of ideas. It's my point from the get-go. We're up against the people who are not nearly as smart as we think they are. We're up against a bunch of people who are not nearly as important as they think they are. And we certainly are not up against a bunch of people upon whom the rest of us can rely. Let me tell you, you are the people who make this country work. The people that we're talking about can't get anything done unless they have the force of government behind them making it happen. We are up against the forces of tyranny. And when the forces of tyranny start tasting the solidification in power, then anybody who opposes them has become an enemy, must be silenced, must be shut down. And how? With the full force of government. This is a truism that remains. And that's who we're up against. These people cannot defeat us without first securing the power of government to give them the strength to actually squash us. Take them away from that hold and they can't compete with us. In the arena of ideas, in an open discussion of policy, debating issues, or what have you. As this oral argument stuff is demonstrating here. This state, or the Solicitor General, the government's lawyer, you ought to see the liberal blogs dumping all over this guy. The White House is going both ways. The White House is defending him, and there are places that they're dumping on him. He's incompetent. He was stumbling. He didn't know what he was. He's got something that's indefensible here. This Verrilli guy is trying to defend something that's intellectually indefensible. The only way he can defend this is to manufacture a number of white lies about what the intent was and what the ultimate objective is. This is not anything anybody could look good trying to do, or very few could. We have these people outnumbered, and we have them outbrained, but nobody knows it. Nobody thinks it, and so the attitude incumbent with the confidence that derives from it is simply missing. Take a look at what's happening. We have an economy that is in tatters. We do not have any economic growth to speak of. Certainly not one that designates a recovery taking place. The job creation that's happening is a myth. We have lost 2 million jobs since Obama was inaugurated. I don't care how many they claim they're adding week to week. We have lost 2 million jobs, and we have not replaced them. We're in a net negative situation, and it's not changing. We have the president driving this country into debt, investing in worthless, unproductive technologies that are going bankrupt. We have a president claiming credit for the Keystone Pipeline, which has not happened. We have Spike Lee tweeting a wrong address, supposedly where George Zimmerman is, but a couple in their 70s lived there, and they've had to flee their homes because the new Black Panthers have a bounty on George Zimmerman that's now up to $28,000 or $30,000. Nobody's saying anything about this. But let somebody on the right utter something that's simply disagreeable, and here come the forces of tyranny. Shut them down. But there's no attempt to quell any of this really powder keg situation in Florida. Remember how hysterical everybody was after Gabrielle Giffords was shot in Arizona. You remember that hysteria? They blamed Sarah Palin. They blamed me. They blamed talk radio in general. They talked about all the words that people were using that might have incited this gunman. They talked about all the conservatives and their words that no doubt incited this guy. We got presidential speeches on civility. We were told that we had to start respecting each other and getting along with each other. We had to stop this incendiary language, which wasn't happening. There was no incendiary language that preceded this shooting in Arizona. Now, and where was it? Some Obama supporter, trying to take out Joe Arpaio? Some self-proclaimed Obama fanatic had plans to take out the sheriffs in Maricopa County. Not a word from the drive-bys about the lack of civility. Not a word about Obama responsible for a potential assassination of Joe Arpaio. Not a word. And the new Black Panther Party, with a bounty that's now into its 5th or 6th day, and there hasn't been a word from the administration of the Justice Department or anybody in authority to stop it. Not a word. Our president has failed to speak out and put a stop to this illegal and depraved bounty on an American citizen who hasn't been charged with anything yet by the new Black Panther Party. Obama has said nothing about Spike Lee tweeting out a street address to help the Black Panther bounty hunters hunt down and kidnap an American citizen. He hasn't said anything about Spike Lee tweeting the wrong address. Spike Lee hasn't withdrawn the tweet. It's a 72-year-old couple who don't even know what's going on, who were being terrorized by people showing up at their house. The elderly people are at present hiding out in a motel. It is said in fear for their lives. Obama has said nothing about Harry Reid, who proudly failed to pass a budget in the Senate that he controls, despite our $16 trillion budget. Obama, nor anyone else, has said anything about Obamacare costing at least twice as much as he claimed when he first sold it. Nor has he been challenged with evidence that the CBO's estimate that Obamacare will cause 3 to 5 million people lose their employer-provided health insurance. Everything he said wouldn't happen is going to happen, and nobody's asking. Mr. President, you said premiums go down $2,500. Mr. President, you said if you like your doctor, you keep your doctor. Mr. President, you said if you like your health insurance plan, you get to keep. No questions. All those are going to go by the wayside. No questions. No demand that he explain. When he hadn't done a thing wrong, George Bush was harangued for 45 minutes of a 1-hour press conference. Are you going to apologize? Are you going to apologize, Mr. President? Are you going to admit your mistakes? President Obama, President of the United States of America, has not spoken out against the riots, the rapes, the arson, the other assorted crimes emanating from the Occupy Wall Street encampments that he, in fact, has all but endorsed. We have genuine lawlessness, chaos, and within the confines of Occupy Wall Street, genuine anarchy. We have pestilence, disease. We have people dropping feces on police cars, and not a word is said about it. Not a word from any quarter is said about it. No, if we're to understand this is the real power, we're told. A Tea Party, they're the hooligans. The Tea Party, they're the depraved. These Occupy people, that's a genuine grassroots movement, we're told. It's supported, it's promoted, Democrat Party, the media, White House, you name it. And I don't understand one American wanting this man reelected. I do not understand it. I don't understand how Barack Obama even has a chance. But he does. And that tells us where we are. It's no wonder that the Democrats block voter ID laws and push for legislation allowing felons the right to vote, because they know if the election were held today, he doesn't stand much of a chance. Nobody will tell you that. I will. That's how bad it is for him. But you're not allowed to know that. And the people who know it are not dare going to say it. And that's why we're not hearing any criticism of the new Black Panther bounty, of Spike Lee's tweet forcing innocent 72-year-olds out of their homes in fear for their lives. We're not going to hear about it because normally these are the kind of things that happen in the country. This kind of unrest, festering effervescence, boiling over, usually end up at the doorstep of the White House. That can't be allowed to happen this time. But Fox News has got to be shut down. All the advertisers of this show, Fox News, they've got to be intimidated into walking away. Small business, perfect. Destroy them. Don't let them advertise. Don't let them advertise their businesses, their wares, their services. The forces of tyranny here at work. And now I circle back to the Supreme Court and the oral arguments over this health care law. And what I want to know is, particularly from our side, where is the outrage it's even gotten this far? Where is the attempt to tell the American people what's in store for them if this thing actually gets fully implemented? Where it's not an intellectual exercise, my friends. This is not a classroom assignment, a classroom game where when it's all over, we leave the classroom and head on down to McDonald's. This is going to fundamentally, foundationally change the relationship that each one of us has with government. And the first thing that will vanish is individualism and freedom. That's going to be the nature of the change, the relationship between a citizen and government. And that's what today's Democrat Party wants. The media, the American left, the worldwide left, the United Nations, Fidel Castro, Hugo Chavez, that's what they want. Joe Biden was right. One time in his life, when he said Obamacare is a BFD, he was right.